Most people don't know this, but the first ever recorded game of soccer in the United States, it wasn't in New York, it wasn't in LA, it was here in New England, in Boston. And since that time, this region has been such a critical part of the American game. From hosting the 1994 World Cup, the 1999 Women's World Cup, some of the country's first pro dynasties and one of its first ever soccer-specific stadiums, from being the site of Maradona's final ever World Cup match, where the first ever MLS Cup was won, where forgotten legends have been born and showcased their talent, and where the women's game has roots going back generations. This is just part of New England's resume, part of its tradition and importance to American soccer. But it's not just the history we're going to talk about the present, some of the most vibrant and healthy community-driven soccer clubs that are setting the standard, setting an example in what American soccer can do for communities in this country. What's up, guys? It's Andrew with Because Football. Welcome to the Road Trip to the World Cup series. Welcome to New England. All right, guys, so pay attention because I'm going to do my best here. I'm at the site of you can argue about it. Yes, I'm going to put the flashers on for 1 second here. So, it was $14 up for an hour. I'm not doing that, so here I just post over right there. As important as New England was for the birthplace of the United States and of that initial rebellion revolution, it has also been so critical to the growth of soccer and the roots of the game in this country. Over my shoulder, Boston Common, the site, it's disputed, but essentially the site of the first ever soccer match in America, 1862. You could handle the ball with your hands, you could carry it, there was tackling. But it's interesting because it's kind of this source of a lot of different games. Could have been soccer, rugby, could have been American football. It's a mix because the interesting thing is they played 15 players aside in a formation that kind of looked like a Christmas tree. The Oneida Football Club was based out of Hartford, I'm pretty sure. Brian Bunk has done a lot of great research on this and wrote a book about it, and a lot of my information comes from the podcast series he's done with Sash. 1862, again, much closer to the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, much closer in time to Benjamin Franklin and George Washington and Paul Revere than Christian Pulisic, than me, Andrew Bagley, than you. So much closer than that time we had soccer here. So yeah, pretty cool. On the road again. When you think of New England, Boston stands out as the unofficial capital, economic hub, and largest city. But there are so many little pockets of soccer in the region that deserve attention. One of those hotbeds is Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Current home of Rhode Island FC of the USL Championship, the second tier of pro soccer in the US. In just their second season, RIFC has recently opened a beautiful new stadium. But that wasn't my only stop in the smallest state in the country. First, I had to pay my respects to a historic home of the game. What's up, everybody? It's Andrew Because Football. I'm here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. I'm out in front of an apartment complex right next to a fish market. What does it have to do with soccer, especially the story of soccer in the United States? Well, this is Coates Field. The significance here is that this field was the site of the first ever US Open Cup in 1914. J&P Coates was a thread company that owned this land in the 1910s, the decade when the Open Cup started. It was the third largest company in the world. From then on, they started to support a lot of company sports teams. This was very popular for the industrialists, the capitalists, the upper class at the time to create these company teams. Now, the interesting thing about Coates Field, not only was it the site of the 3 of the first 4 Open Cups, but it was also the home of the J&P Coates company soccer team. They were one of those founding members of the American Soccer League of the 1920s, the first ever fully professional soccer league in the United States. They were one of those 8 teams, and although in the first season they finished quite poorly, it was the second year in 1923 that they actually ended up winning the title, winning the competition. And obviously this field, this stadium, would get thousands of people on a weekend for matches. They would march up this street, Lonsdale Avenue, with marching bands. They would have people coming from all over the town to see the soccer matches. This is at a time in the 1920s, a professional league in the US predated professional soccer in traditional powerhouses such as Germany, Spain, Italy, Argentina. So it's pretty incredible to think that at that time, the United States was ahead of the curve. Today, it looks a little bit different, but it's important, I think, that we came here and we saw this, the field, the location where 3 of the first 4 Open Cup finals were held. All right, so we're here Centerville Bank Stadium. So excited to be here for USL Jagermeister Cup action. Rhode Island FC against Portland Hearts of Pine. A new derby, a new rivalry in the New England area. Was speaking to some of the Portland fans, and they said, for most sports, New England all rocks together. We all represent the same teams. But soccer now, you've got RIFC, you've got Portland, you got Vermont Green. Now we got some options. Now we got some people to support in the area. So it's a very exciting time for New England soccer in the present. I really gotta thank RIFC. I got the official press accreditation. Don't tell anybody, but it's the first time I've gotten this ever. So pretty cool. Hey! Our cyclists cycling to the matches. How awesome is that?
We love it. We live about 3 miles away, so this is just perfect for us. And on the way back, there's a whole group of people who end up biking at the same time, being in this like little platoon of bikes.
We went to the first game and we just really enjoyed it.
Fell in love.
Yeah, we love the experience.
Eric has a history of being a soccer fan. He's a Sounders fan for the MLS, and I never really got into it, but I think it's the local connection for me. And knowing the team does a great job of like sharing the stories behind the players, and I think that story element 100%. Really got me engaged with the sport, and now I'm really a fanatic.
But like from the start, the supporters group's been so strong and just so active.
Really cool. And you guys have an adorable mascot as well. Chip. He's a seal?
He's
like, I heard
he's a harbor seal.
Harbor seal, specifically a harbor seal. I can't wait to meet Chip myself, actually. So I'm in the team store. 2 things really stand out, okay? Number one thing that I hear around world football, what they are jealous of American sports about is how well we do retail and stores. So that's one thing, and it's definitely buzzing in here. But the second thing that the world does not have to compare to American soccer are mascots, especially not an adorable mascot like Chip the Harbor Seal, who is the mascot of Rhode Island FC. It's adorable. I want to buy 1 million of these for my niece. I want to buy these for my kids that I don't even have yet. That's how cute this guy is. I just heard it's a harbor seal.
Okay.
Specifically, Chip the Harbor Seal.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you on the marketing team?
I have a YouTube channel, so I'm just here to check it out. So
What's your YouTube
first time,
channel?
thank you. Because football.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to the stadiums?
Yep. Yeah. So I've been going around the world the last year or so with my wife. Now back home and working on a documentary series for all the World Cup cities to talk about the soccer culture and community in each place. So
I'm gonna go follow you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. But the question is, are you going to pick up?
We're gonna have a jersey for sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Chip yet.
Maybe. Okay. Everybody's been so lovely and wonderfully welcoming. To go 1-0. The home fans were understandably buoyed by the goal, but I was really impressed with the away fans all the way from Portland, Maine. And if you want to hear more about this club and the incredible movement they've got going on in Portland, make sure you stay tuned till later in the video. Got a little Friday out and about. Nice.
Damn, hitting the game with the guys, nothing better. Honestly, kind of went to some Revs games back in the day because it was kind of like the local team, but you know, I was actually born in Pawtucket, which is kind of cool. My dad's from here, my mom's from here, so kind of just like hometown, love the sport, gotta just, you know, come and show out for the city.
It brings the community better and makes it stronger and brings people out, so.
It's great that Rhode Island has something of its own right now. Ever since the Pawtuckets left, there's been a bit of a void, and RIFC is helping fill that.
What's your favorite part of the game?
Either when they score or they sign my jersey.
RIFC
How are you? Defiance 1636 is the best supporters group ever for Rhode Island FC. I love this team. I will support it till I die.
Celebrating now, big dub, big win. Celebrating now. It's lit right now, it's lit with Chip, let's go! Yeah, come on! Come on! They love Rhode Island, they would never apologize for loving Rhode Island, let's go! Good morning guys, it's about 6:30 on Saturday. I'm very excited to see you all this morning. I'm very excited to give you a nice surprise. It's not what you expect as one of our soccer stops here in New England, but let's go.
Jackson also missed 5 games with a leg injury in recognition of Fall River's defensive achievements.
Why am I standing in front of an empty lot in a parking lot at 6:45 in the morning in North Tiverton, Rhode Island? Well, the first one is I have too much free time. The second reason is this site was the site of Marks Stadium, one of the first soccer-specific stadiums built in the United States and one of the most important for American soccer history. This was the home of the Fall River Marksmen, one of the most successful and respected clubs of the 1920s in the U.S. They were the first ever professional team in the United States to win the treble. So they won the ASL, they won 2 local cups as well. This was a team that would get thousands of fans, so many fans they couldn't even fit into the stadium. All around here were mills, and you can see in the corner there behind me, that would have been full of people at the top row trying to look in and see. And I think the interesting thing about this is not only is Fall River Marksmen an important team in American soccer, but in global soccer as well. This team hosted many international European and South American clubs when they would make tours to the United States, including 2 of the giants of Glasgow, Scotland, Celtic and Rangers, Kilmarnock, Sparta Prague, and from Argentina, Vélez Sarsfield. Not only did Falls River host some of the world's greatest clubs, they actually made a tour themselves to Central Europe, where they toured Hungary and Austria before cutting their trip short because Sam Mark, being the shark he was, wasn't happy with their share of the gate receipts from attendance. So they decided, we're getting screwed over here by the Europeans, we're going back home. To give some context, to give you an idea of the type of level of player we're talking about here, of course they were able to attract some of the best American players from New England and some of their best guys like Billy Gonzalez, Bert Patenaude. They were local guys, and in fact, Bert Patenaude was the first ever player of any nationality to score a hat trick in the World Cup, in the 1930 World Cup in Uruguay. But it's important that we give some great examples of just what kind of level, on what par American soccer was at the time. To give you an idea, Falls River was able to attract Arsenal's backup goalkeeper. Not only was there enough money, but also just enough prestige to attract top players. This was not uncommon in the ASL and for many of these clubs, but Fall River did it exceptionally well. They were able to attract top talent, mostly from Britain, from Scotland and England, to come to the US. They would get a nice cushy desk job, which was a total luxury compared to most of the jobs at the time were hard labor in places like this mill, which I believe is the Bourne Mill behind me. And I want to make a quick note about why a team from Fall River, Massachusetts would have played in Rhode Island for their match as well. This is literally a dividing line between Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And the reason the team played in Rhode Island and not Massachusetts is because of something called the Blue Laws, which meant you couldn't have sports and many other recreational activities on Sundays, sometimes even Saturdays. So that's why they had to make the little movement just across the border into Rhode Island in order to be able to actually play the matches and get people to the games. So the next time you go by an empty lot, I want you to think for a moment of Marks Stadium, of Coates Field in Pawtucket, and think of this rich fabric of soccer history that we've got. And I want you to think of Because Football, because we're going to bring you more stories like this on our Road Trip to the World Cup documentary series, telling the story of the soccer culture and community around the United States. Vamos. And as luck would have it, during the filming of our Atlanta episode of the series, I met Nuno Pitera, a coach and club director who has lived in Atlanta for decades, but grew up in Fall River in the 1970s. He gave me a first-hand account of what it was like growing up in town, including the culture shock he experienced after emigrating from Portugal as a teenager. It's crazy you have a picture with Pelé and you're like, yeah, I'm not sure where that is. Like, I'd be like, if I had a picture with Pelé, that'd be like every day. Okay, yeah, I see the NSWL.
No, what it was, Andrew, was that, so Fall River is really traditional American Northeast city. Back then, the manufacturing was there, so the immigrants came to work in the factories and do all that. So I ended up being with my family, my uncle, and they were integrated. So all of my cousins were born in America. So they were living in a part of Fall River that American kids lived in, that played baseball, that played basketball. Well, one of the first times I brought a soccer ball out to the park, a whole bunch of baseball players that were there called me a communist. Like, were you a communist? I didn't even know what a communist was. 13, 14 years old. It was just something that was so alien to them that, like, we don't play that here, dude. That made an impact because it was like, well, I don't want to be, I don't want to be a communist. I want to fit in. And all I had to do is go about 1.5 miles and the whole ethnicity of the city, like people like me that recently came from overseas, like yesterday, they're playing soccer, man. And so I got introduced to that 1.5 years later and opened my eyes because of my friends. As I started to swim out of that kind of more typical American suburb and realized that, okay, there's a whole different world here that I can connect to, and I'm not a communist, that this is pretty cool with my own people. But it was very ethnic. It was very Portuguese, very whatever, Italian, Jamaican. I mean, there were very, very few American kids. And if you were American and you were playing in that league, you were a superstar. And they treated you as such because they wanted you to be a part of that.
On my way out of Fall River, I stumbled upon a local eatery that's been around for ages, even since the legendary Marksmen days of the 1920s.
Hey, how are ya?
Cool. So, what's the go-to? Show us the go-to, the local favorite.
Go-to pie is the small pork pie we've been making for 125 years. This is my husband, Kevin.
Kevin, great to meet you.
Kevin's been here since he was 8 years old, and my nephew, Luke.
Luke, how you doing, man? Heard you're a soccer player as well?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And these are the original presses that Thomas Hartley brought over many, many years ago.
How many of these you press in the morning?
Well, 24 per tray, 6 trays per batch.
With a lot, yes. And the holidays are different because it just never ends.
Do they say it's not a Hartley pie that doesn't run down your arm, right? So,
absolutely.
Let's see.
So pick it up, take a bite.
Very hearty breakfast, get your day started.
Super good.
Wow.
Super, super delish.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. This is awesome.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Got my Hartley's pork pie, a local institution here in Fall River. It's incredible to think that they've been around since 1900. So 100%, some of the players who were competing at the top of their game for the Fall River Marksmen, they definitely came, they got their fill here of the pork pies, the chorizo, beef pies here at Hartley's. Incredible, so glad I got to see this. But now, instead of in the past, we're off to the present. We're headed to Cambridge, just outside of Boston, to see CD Faialense. A men's team, they don't even train, but they were in the US Open Cup last year. We're excited to go check that out. Let's go. Update on the pie. Once you get to the crust soaked in the gravy, it's a really nice peppery flavor, just like hits your soul. It's unreal. It's gonna make the next hour drive so much better. So it's about 9 a.m. on a cold, gray June morning in Winthrop, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. We've got two of the most storied clubs in the Boston area as far as your adult grassroots leagues goes. We've got Lusitana Club playing in the blue and yellow against CD Faialense. Lusitana's been around in some form since the 20s, their soccer program since the 60s. Ooh, good ball. Both of these clubs were members of the LASA League through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, which was a really high-level, semi-professional league in the New England area at the time. Can you talk a little bit about the LASA League? Because it was like a badass semi-pro.
It was. Going to a LASA game as a 15-year-old, and I'm like being back in Portugal. I'm sitting there, everybody pays $1 to get into high school stadium, and you got 4,000 fans sitting there, you know. But the LASA League, you're talking about global superstars. So you had a lot of guys that played indoor professionally that then took the 3-4 months to play in the LASA League and actually make serious money back then. I'm talking $600, $700, $800 cash per week. In those days, that was real money. We got a lot of superstars that would come from Brazil. That was their off season. And their clubs wouldn't know. They signed a contract under the table with the Fall River Club, Academica, Lusitano, the Blues, New Bedford Sports, Fall River Sports, Ponta Delgada. These are all, you know, and then you have the ethnicity from Portugal itself. So you have the different regions of Portugal with a certain club, and now you have a clash going up. So a lot of my memories were very, very intense. I mean, that thing was very much third world. You know, in terms of lack of security, some of the situations that in games that we got ourselves into, that was like, wow, you know, they're great memories then, but back then felt dangerous. I mean, I'd come out of a game, I'm like, I don't think I'm playing again. This is crazy. Like a couple guys beating up on each other, 50 fans waiting for the players outside the gate, like throwing stuff at us. We get in the van, they're rocking the van. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I don't think I tell the guys in the van, like, I'm not playing next week. He's like, dude, we're at home next week. We'll do it to them. When they come back, I'm like, okay, I'll be there. Yeah, you know, that thing pulls you back in. And there is something about, you know, being able to get that type of reaction from a crowd. There's something that captivates you, that brings you back, that you're like, oh, I want more of that. There's a certain power, a certain thing that I can make a good move and people react like, wow.
And now they're playing in the Baystate Cup of the Baystate Soccer League.
I'm Tommy McLaughlin, and I am the president of the Baystate Soccer League. So the Baystate Soccer League was founded in 1970. It is an adult amateur club. It's considered one of the top adult amateur clubs in the country. And between pub teams, ethnic teams, and people who just want a high competitive level of soccer, we're able to provide it all. And also help promote the league. And if you like soccer, come out on a Saturday and check out a game.
Faialense has gotten a lot of attention lately as they qualified for the U.S. Open Cup proper last year. They ended up playing Portland Hearts of Pine, who we saw last night. And even though they ended up losing 4-0, the fact that this team, essentially just a group of friends, guys have all played at a high collegiate level individually, but really, they don't even train. They're just living their soccer dream on the weekends. It's definitely one of the Cinderella stories in recent U.S. soccer. And so we're excited to be here, get to meet some of the guys. Right now, it's 4-3 for Faialense. We're gonna see how this one ends up.
Go on, go. Hey, what's up?
You can tell it's a cup match because it's starting to get chippy. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of extra. We just had a yellow card for each team for dissent and talking, and so I think we're gonna see some meaty tackles coming in soon. Get the ice packs ready.
I mean, sometimes tempests flare. I mean, it's okay. You expect such things to happen. You know, if it doesn't happen, then that's not soccer. So it's part of the game. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Why do you guys do it? What keeps you connected?
Love of the game, man. Love of the game.
And a little extra pay for
The money doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, first thing is the love of the game.
Yeah, and great exercise.
And good exercise,
good
exactly.
exercise.
Keeping fit.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for what you do. Thank you
man.
guys. Take care.
I've watched it once. Tyler's just got it a couple times. No? Damo does it a decent amount, but it's mainly Lucas.
Repeat that. It's mainly who?
It's mainly Lucas. It's the boys, man. I mean, honestly, like when I first graduated college, like when you play soccer in college and like that's your whole identity for like your whole life, like you forget like how to operate. And then I got in contact with an old coach who brought me this team, and I knew a bunch of these guys. I used to play with Damo when I was a kid, and so like coming back to this community was nice to like go with guys who are like in the same position as you, just graduated, like not sure what to do without soccer. So we've kept a good core here that we just love hanging out with. So yeah, we go to the Faialense club and get some drinks and food, some steak after a nice win. It's always good.
But all right,
You going to the club?
Going to the club. I'm just gonna call my wife and tell her. Let's go. Damn, we'll see you there. Yeah. All right, I'm not getting changed, so I'll worry about it. But yeah, dude, you get home.
Thanks, bro. Nice. Hey, dear.
We got one for you too.
Oh, thank you, bro. That didn't. Too kind. There's nothing better than a steaming latte to warm you up after being out in the cold. And even though I didn't play, I definitely took the opportunity to load up on some protein just like the lads.
4 beef.
4 beef meat.
4 beef.
Okay, rice and Portuguese fries.
Yes.
Okay. Easy.
Yeah, God.
All right, gonna get the tour. Have a look at the bar area where we like to frequent and, you know, come here, have some drinks, hang out with the guys. Some of the trophies that the team has gathered from just being around forever. You know, like I said, we were in the Laza League for a long time. This is our trophy for winning the BSSL in 2023, which was our first BSSL trophy. I mean, there's all sorts of, you know, history here. Some old CDF teams from back in the day, like you see here, 88. We want to get some of those retro jerseys at some point.
Yeah, that'd be
we like the one with the stripe. We'll work on it. And then this is where we have like most of our team events and everything. We had a table the length of this wall lined up with just friends and family and players, and we had a great time.
What does it mean to have like a, you know, a physical space you guys can browse?
I mean, it means everything. It feels, you know, we have a home. You know, all the guys identify with the place now, and so it's something where we can tell the people like, oh, come play with us. You know, we have a home, and how regulars here want to have our gear, you know, because, you know, it gives us all something to identify with. So, you know, people that were coming here, they were talking about how it was their team. Guys that I had never talked to before, but it was their team. And it's cool. We come in here and they want to ask us about how we're doing, and, you know, they give us a hard time when we don't win, and it's fun. But the food's out if you want to come look at what the food looks like.
This is where it's at. This is where it's at. So yeah, because I was like, dude, I knew what I was doing, bro. Oh, I knew you knew what you were doing, but I didn't know how much space you have.
Cool.
Oh.
Well, dude.
The boys.
Here we go, boys. Faialense. Let's go.
The boys hate to lose. The boys hate to lose.
After saying goodbye to the Faialense boys, I hit I-90 West in search of a small town with a disproportionately large impact on the region's soccer scene. Welcome to Ludlow, Massachusetts, the home of the Lusitano Stadium, the self-pronounced soccer capital of New England since 1922, current home to the Western Mass Pioneers of USL 2 and the New England Mutiny of the United Women's Soccer League.
Obviously, this town is soccer-oriented.
It's a soccer-rich town for sure. So many players and coaches and referees even. David coach from Ludlow here, World Cup referee here. It was always a special thing to play here at Lusitano Stadium. The feel of the stadium, being surrounded by concrete, the locker rooms below the bleachers, walking out on the field, gives it that European feel. But the whole atmosphere here on game nights and game days is just special.
Like all American communities, Ludlow's success in soccer stems from a variety of cultures, from Polish, Italian, and others, and the stadium itself still stands as a testament to the passion for the game of the Portuguese social club that built it, the Grêmio Lusitano Club. The club was started in the 1920s, but since then, like many social clubs around the Northeast, opened up beyond its Portuguese membership to embrace the wider community and use soccer to do it. It's a multi-generational social trend that I spoke about with Francisco Marcos, founder of the USL, and Portuguese himself, who realized that for soccer to grow in the US, it needed to honor but evolve from its cultural roots.
When Western Mass in Ludlow, Massachusetts became a member of the USISL, there weren't going to be the Portuguese American Club of Western Mass. But in the league, they had to become something else. They become the pioneers. Why the pioneers? Well, we could relate it to Portugal. We could relate that we were pioneers for a long time all over the world. We were able to convince one another that pioneers was something that made sense for the American market, and that the Portuguese population of Ludlow and the surrounding areas could identify what they were trying to do with that. But it was nevertheless a disruptive process to take clubs that have been around for a long time and literally force them to change their names without totally doing away with their identity.
This statue behind me is one of the coolest stories in American soccer history. This story that has to do with this statue of Eusebio, the all-time Portuguese great, considered the best Portuguese player until some guy named Cristiano Ronaldo came around, who was a bronze medalist in the 1966 World Cup, won multiple European Cups with Benfica in the 1960s, and was regarded by Pelé as the greatest player of their generation.
He was the Golden Boot winner, the top scorer at the 1966 World Cup in England. Eusebio was on fire back then. It was incredible. In fact, North Korea was part of this World Cup and did amazingly well. They played Portugal in the first quarterfinal, and within 20 minutes they were up 3-0. But then Eusebio said that enough is enough, and he scored 4 goals, and they ended up beating them, I think, 5-3. But yeah, Eusebio was incredible in that World Cup. So he's portrayed over here.
And then Pelé came back a couple more times after that, and one of them was a riot game, they called it, against the Minutemen, Cosmos Minutemen. Now, with Eusebio playing for the Minutemen, it was a real rivalry, and the stadium was oversold by a lot. People were standing right behind the goal. They put a rope up or something like that, and they're just like, they just poured onto the field. And Pelé, I think, left that game police car. And that because it was just wild. And I talked to him about that later. I said, what about it? You know, I said, well, you scary. I said, they like ripped your clothes. He said, yeah. He says, they just wanted my shorts. And he was smiling. I did talk to the security guard too. That guy was real worried. Pelé was like just this guy that was otherworldly, you know. And Eusebio was like that too. So we were lucky to have that guy.
This statue is a replica of the Eusebio statue at Benfica's Stadio da Luz in Lisbon, Portugal. A statue that I was able to see when I visited Benfica myself. But the question you might be asking is, well, why is there a copy of that statue in Ludlow, Massachusetts? Eusebio played in the NASL, played with a handful of teams around the New England area. In the twilight of his career, scored a goal here, making him an often overlooked and unknown part of the American soccer story.
1979 and 1980, Eusebio and Simões were as a league and in the Connecticut League just to make some extra money while they were here. Vacation. He had played for the Hartford Bicentennials and the Minutemen. He came to the club. In the old club, the dressing rooms were down on the basement of the club. So you had to cross this street into the stadium. The club team came into the stadium, and we all came, and Simões came, and everybody was looking for Eusebio, and there was no Eusebio to be found. So the president of the club at the time, Mr. Tavares, says, "Hey, John, go downstairs and see what's going on with Eusebio." So I go down there, and so I was 20 years old. I get down there and I said, "Hey, Eusebio," Mr. Tavares says, "Why aren't you in the field?" In Portuguese, of course. And he says, "Eusebio is not going on the field. Either he gets the do-re-mi right now or he's not going on the field." I happened to be the middleman because I always liked soccer and all that. So Mr. Tavares comes with me and pays him whatever it was that they had established at the time. He puts it between his sock, going down to the shoelace, and he walks in the field. He gets a standing ovation. The game starts. 5-6 minutes into the game, right here on the bottom net. Simões does a corner kick. Simões crosses the ball. Eusebio scores. He walks out, and that was it. He made his money. That 12 minutes about. He made his money. Yep. Mr. Frias donated this to Benfica.
That statue is actually at the old Foxborough Stadium, and they were going to throw it away. And the guys in the club here pretty much just grabbed it out of the dumpster and transported it here to Lusitano.
And when they offered it to us, the president over here, Celso, decided that, yeah, it would be a good idea to have him over here. He had played here. Sure, why not? So here he is. The tricky part is nobody knows. Eusebio never had a rep. When he played, he never had a rep. That is actually something that happened on the way back here. He fell off the truck and he broke his arm. And then we had to pick him up, and that's how that is. Unfortunately, it hasn't, all these years, has never been fixed, but it needs to be fixed somehow. You wouldn't know. That's the story.
This is such a great symbol of New England soccer on multiple levels. It's a great little snapshot of what American soccer has been, and kind of the weird, the quirky, but the very fun stories that we've forgotten about and that just aren't told enough.
This is my team, the best team in the world. No, about the Pioneers, because that's my team too.
Well, I mean, like you mentioned, the Pioneers, they have a lot of history. You know, back when I was playing for the Pioneers, there was like 2,000 or 4,000, people at a small local soccer club. The whole community got behind. Also seeing Vermont Green is creating that culture now up in Burlington. So it was amazing to go up there this summer with our USL 2 team to go see that environment.
So we get a lot of good players coming for college and just growing up. We're a top team every year, so it just brings more people from the community in to come watch the games. And
hey man, so you're the one kind of real local guy from Ludlow. So when was the first time you played on this field?
I think when I was probably 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used to come to these games when I was younger. When I came with my family, there was a lot of people, and it was just a great atmosphere. And I used to play all the time over in that back corner.
Oh, cool.
And yeah,
that's where all the Rugrats running around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then hopefully inspire some youth to want to play here too.
100%. Yeah.
So it's
you're the guy that now the 5-year-olds are watching, right? And kind of getting the sense of things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because obviously I was 5 here, and now I'm a player and I play here all the time. So it's kind of full circle.
So many players in the past and even present day. On the men's side, Patrick Eigenmann played here, and what a great story he is. On the women's side, multiple NWSL professionals have come across here. Kate Howarth, our all-time leading scorer, and just recently, Chioma Okafor got a call up to the Nigerian national team. That's kind of a stepping stone here. Yeah, it's deep history.
This is the commissioner of the Crossbar Challenge Association. What's the plan?
So the main plan is to hit the crossbar, Can
we get a round of applause for that?
Thank you, Oscar.
Visionary leadership. All right.
See you, Smith. Oh. We're gonna go 0 for 10.
Yeah. Oh, nope. Little scuff. Again. Ooh, money. I mean, Oscar's technically the commissioner, so it's up to him.
We do take skimmers.
Unfortunately, the Western Mass Pioneers game canceled, but have hope, for football is here. Hartford Athletic against Detroit City FC in Hartford, Connecticut. Let's go.
Can I just try one of those on? Of course, yeah. Love it. Actually, I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna go with it. Thank you. All right, Junior Fire Marshal Night I love this. This is the first time I had an actual physical ticket in a minute, at Hartford Athletic against Detroit City in the Jaeger Cup. Well, it's 1-1, 23rd minute. I hope we see more goals. Hope I didn't miss all of them. But beautiful night again, and it looks like our mascot is Dylan. Kind of reminds me of the Philly Fanatics' cousin a little bit. Just a big, hairy green guy. it's halftime. We had a great halftime show. So we've got two fan groups that are closely associated apparently. We got Bonanza, which I love that name actually, and Raza Brava as well. Right now we got the next generation of drummers, as you can see, practicing, getting their reps in. But pretty awesome mix here. And so far, pretty exciting game. The fans are up for it. You know, we're having fun. American soccer. The carnival, the family fun atmosphere continues. Not only do we have the archery, but we've got caricatures by Judy. You can get a drawing of yourself made. It's incredible. I don't know if it's every day or because it's specifically Junior Marshals Night. Speaking of, where's my hat? Well, so far I've been in Hartford for about 45 minutes, and what I've learned is that people have a bit of an identity crisis. They know they're from Connecticut. They're not sure. Are they New England? Are they New York? Just like I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's all good. People are having a good time. There's really not a bad seat in the house. And one thing is for sure, everybody here is athletic, Hartford athletic. And it is a fortress. Thank you, man. So we got to do something. PK shootout. Let's go. Great save. Amazing save from the keeper. Let's go. All right, 0-0. Wow, and a save now. So 3 pens taken, none converted. Nobody wants to win this. All right, final kick. I think if he makes this, we got to win for Hartford. Oh my gosh, the keeper saved it. This is absurd. How many are we going to do? Tell us a little bit about the background of the supporters club.
So we started this about in COVID times in 2020. The Spanish guys figured that it was time to bring more culture, our own culture to the supporter group. So we created Raza Brava. That was in 2020, the first year. And since then we've been coming nonstop. Our motto has been we always show up. We always show up. We give it all. Sometimes we have good games. Sometimes we don't have great games. But we're here all the time to support.
But when you're not here at the stadium, you're also with the Furia Roja, right? With the,
yes, so I am also part of Marea Roja, which is the Chilean national team fan base. I've been doing it for close to 15 years. I started in 2010 when we qualified for South Africa. Every country pretty much in South America and about 10 countries in Europe with Chilean national team. 3 finals, 2 that we have won, so I lived it all with Chile. Yeah, man, my pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, here we are post-game. We got Matt Sheldon, the man, YouTube beast, become elite. I want to thank you first, man, for the impact you made on a lot of American soccer players, and then also kind of just being a voice, culturally to push players too, so really appreciate that, man. But big night for you. You got the game-tying goal, and you guys went on to get the dub, so how are you guys feeling?
I mean, amazing. I mean, the first half we started a little slow, but to be able to get a brace there and just to score and just to have that, it's like my first goals this season. So
oh, hell yeah.
I was very happy to do that. And it's just a comeback win is always a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun.
For sure, yeah. And then PK shootout was under the keepers were standing on their heads.
Yeah. Los, shout out Los, our goalkeeper did extremely well to save a couple of those. And I was up next on the penalty shootout, so I'm a little happy that Michael Bryant slotted it in there. So it's good, yeah.
Awesome, man, cool. If you have to think back to a moment as a kid that was like a formative moment for you, like that got you hooked on the game, what would that be?
I mean, it had to be like just Ronaldinho, watching what he did with the ball.
Same,
but then I also think the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, I think watching the U.S. go on a little run there was just huge as well. So the World Cup, the impact of the World Cup on kids getting into the game is huge.
100%. Yeah, when I think of that one, it's Landon scoring late against Algeria.
I remember exactly where I was when he scored that goal. So
100%,
awesome.
Me too. Cool. Thank you so much, man.
Of course,
I appreciate
man.
it. After hearing Matt's most memorable World Cup moments, I decided to take a deeper dive into the background of the tournament myself. And to help me do that, I visited with Soren Meibom, a Danish astrophysicist turned artist who lives just north of Boston, a lifelong Liverpool fan and high-level player in Denmark. Soren had a successful career studying stellar structure and working with NASA to discover planets beyond our solar system. A few years ago, he transitioned to a life of making sci-art, as he calls it, combining his 3 passions: art, science, and soccer. coming to your happy place in the studio, huh?
Yeah. So these are all part of the World Cup experience project that I have.
By each year, right? So each specific World Cup, you
Each
get like a
picture, represents one World Cup, and the idea is that by looking at that picture, inspecting it, and studying it, you can basically sort of, relive a World Cup. The major players, all the results, the stadiums.
So cool.
All those kind of things are all sort of in each picture, but yet they're all different, right? But they have the same components, the same structure, same components. The common denominator is just curiosity, and creativity is a big part of that too, right? Being creative as an athlete, as a scientist, it's obvious why curiosity is a big factor, but you actually need a lot of creativity also to be a scientist. Once you have an idea, once you have a question, you have to figure out, how am I going to answer it? How can I design my experiment? How can I get data? It's all about being curious about the world. What are the stories I want to tell, and how can I tell them, right? So right now we're talking about soccer and the World Cup. How can you tell the history of the World Cup? Through art. And this is my current way of doing that, is saying, let's create one piece of art about each World Cup, and people will be able to go into a gallery somewhere and go through and experience the whole history of the World Cup through visual art, and study these pieces and be reminded, talk to their children, talk to their friends. Oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Or get surprised about, oh, really? Could that be the US was in the first World Cup? A guy from Fall River in Massachusetts scored the first hat trick ever in the World Cup. You can go through, and every World Cup I'm learning. I'm just amazed at all these funny stories, all these surprising stories, and how it is tied into the world history, geopolitics, natural disasters, wars, dictators. All these things affected the World Cup because the World Cup is global. And that is what is so fascinating and beautiful about it. But it also means that whatever is going on in the world is going to have an effect on it.
All right, next stop on our New England road trip to the World Cup, just south of Boston here, and I'm about to meet with Frank Dell'Apa. Frank is an absolute, here we go, found it. Frank's an absolute legend, Boston Globe soccer reporter for decades.
Sure, yeah, good to see you.
If you're reading something about New England soccer, he probably wrote it. He was probably there. So it's incredible that I get to be here and chat with him. We're just pulling into the driveway, so let's check it out now. Your professional reporting experience for soccer goes all the way back to NASL, 1977. Now we're nearly 40 years to that point. Like, this is a massive question that we could just talk about endlessly, but like, can you imagine, would you have ever imagined kind of where we are today with soccer in the United States?
I always knew something was going to happen. I didn't know what. Now, we actually thought it would come a little sooner, because when the World Cup came to the U.S. in '94, that was a real catalyst. There was still some downtime. You had to get MLS up and running. You had to get more than 10 teams, 12 teams, et cetera. So I think we didn't really see exactly what was going to happen. We had no real clear idea what that was. So now we're kind of seeing what that was. And so, yeah, it's been gratifying. Yeah, it's changed a lot. Yeah, I mean, in the past, people didn't really have much to say to you. They want to know, like, did you cover the Celtics? I say, yeah, I did that. So we talk about that kind of thing. But there also wasn't that many points of reference that people could really grab onto. Now they can. I was talking to these kids, little kids, like maybe 5 years old before the last Revolution game. They knew a lot of stuff, man, but they knew Carly's heel and guys like that. So yeah, that's totally changed. They were happy to meet me, where in the past, yeah, it was like a little shaky, but it's part of the culture though. I don't think we have a real sophisticated soccer culture. A lot of people around Boston area know tons about soccer. They didn't know anything about the Revolution or care. Now, if they got a stadium in Boston, that might change. But, there's almost 2 or 3 different camps here. There's the guys with the youth soccer and college game, and, and then you got the pro game in all different countries. So you can see Premier League games, see all that. So that's become more of a point of reference than MLS. I think it's personalized. I'm not sure if people might. Yeah. This is absolutely a good one to have. He's got some great stories. Shep's still doing stuff with Red Bulls. Yeah.
There was a lot of notoriety because he did like
Playgirl, yeah, spread. Are we going to kick it around or what?
Yeah, let's do it.
I always wanted a soccer ball when I was a kid. There were no soccer balls. It was a basic thing. There was no balls around. There were no soccer balls.
And this is growing up in Colorado.
Yeah, in Colorado, I never saw a soccer ball for years sometimes. And so I decided if I ever got a car, I'm going to get a soccer ball and put it in the car so I've always got a ball. Growing up, we didn't play. Okay. So I when I started playing, which was later in life, I had to play like right back. Gotcha. Because I can run, you know. Yeah, after I get done working or whatever that. Come out.
And what was that like? You were saying like when the U.S. was awarded the World Cup in what, '88, you guys started to cover more, but like, yeah, there was no pro league here. So what were you trying to like convince your editors to be like, hey, this is the thing that people might like or people should know about?
Yeah, it was hard because there was nothing local to write about. So I said, I'll write about the world, you know.
Okay.
And they said, okay, those days you could convince them. But yeah, there was nothing local.
And they just had to like take your word for it, basically?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, they could see that because it's going to be big.
Yeah.
The World Cup.
All right, pulling into the lot at Gillette Stadium. I will say, coming from the south, it is very rural. It's like nothing, and then you hit Foxborough, and it's a little bit of something, and now we've got the stadium here. Pretty wild. Here we are, Gillette Stadium, the future site of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. There's going to be 7 matches in this stadium, which is typically the home of one of America's American football dynasties, the New England Patriots. Although this stadium is mostly known for American football, its predecessor, Foxborough Stadium, has incredible soccer tradition as well, not only hosting 5 games in the '94 World Cup, including the match for Maradona's last ever goal against Greece and his final ever World Cup match of his career against Nigeria.
The Maradona game, I'll talk about that too. The Maradona came here with Argentina for the '94 World Cup. They trained at a local college and total access pretty much. He got in trouble with that because whatever he was using was basically an inhaler type thing, and it had some whatever in it. It was a really controversial thing. You know, they bought it right over the counter on Tremont Street, and he got busted for that. But that last game, we got to see his last game for the Argentinian national team at Foxborough.
As well as the 1999 Women's World Cup, the U.S. team played North Korea here in a group match, and they drew over 50,000 fans on the road to a World Cup trophy. It also hosted the first ever MLS Cup in 1996, which was an absolute monsoon and absurdity. Not great for the league and TV at the time, but an incredible part and a very wacky part of MLS history.
Yeah, soaking rain, a massive puddle out there. And people showed up. Like you say, the Revolution weren't even in it, and there was no reason to go out in that weather. And they had a really good crowd. It was a mid-30K. People stayed right to the end and went into what they called golden goal overtime in those days. So, and it was a great game. LA Galaxy brought a really good team. DC wins it, and Bruce Arena basically makes his career. Won the next year too, and became national team coach, etc. So
as I'm here, it's actually training camp for the Patriots right now. So there's a lot of people around for this. I'm just trying to get a sense of what it's going to be like when the soccer fans, when the football fans from around the world come together and gather here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. It's going to be incredible. Can you imagine 65,000 fans standing for 90 minutes? And that's going to be 7 matches in the World Cup next summer. It's going to be incredible for soccer in this region. What I also notice here is that there's kind of this retail and offices area close to the stadium. So even though it's quite suburban area, looks like there's a couple places, I imagine, live music, some country themed bar, a couple others. So if you're coming to the games, it looks like there is a location nearby where you can enjoy. I think you're gonna need to drive for sure. There is a public transit train line to the stadium as well if you're coming from Boston, but if you're coming anywhere from like the Providence area, anywhere south, you're gonna have to drive. So make sure you get here early, spend the whole day to tailgate for these matches. And on the topic of game day vibes, I was finally able to see a live match at the Lusitano, where I joined about 400 fellow fans to watch the New England Mutiny.
Oh!
All right, so we're here. The New England Mutiny have kicked off. We're about 7 minutes in. It's already 1-0 for the ladies. I believe they're leading the division this year and going to be making another run for the national playoffs in the United Women's Soccer League. But really impressed so far, not only with the whole infrastructure. They've got merch and gear. They've got a lot of beers. They got food. We're going to try that famous Befana sandwich that everyone's been telling me about. It's so cool to be in a place that has not only generations of soccer history and that has that tradition, but it's maintained, it's living on. Really important thing for clubs at this level is the ability to have food and bev, especially alcohol sales, to make it that atmosphere. We've got a few dozen people watching from the beer garden or in the shade over by the pavilion, and then probably 100 to 200 people in the main stand. It's awesome to see. Finally, the famous Befana.
Oh, yes. There you go. Enjoy.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What do people normally put on it as far as condiments, or is it more a personal choice?
More personal choice. A lot of people add extra hot sauce to it. Or you can put some ketchup or mustard. Normally the hot sauce is the best way to go.
All right, awesome. Thank you, man. Roast pork sandwich. This looks so good. That was with the triple soccer fun Dell'Apa. I gotta remember to breathe. First time I ever had the Befana sandwich was at Benfica in Portugal. Here I am, heavily Portuguese community in the U.S. Running it back, Temples Papada. This is so good.
Why do you think soccer is good?
Well, I get to make all of my friends from all of the teams that I play on. And I get to have my supporters like you guys come watch me.
Good vibes. Two of our coaches from our camp one of them played on it.
And watching soccer is just fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And also I got to yell slay.
All right, so the game is over. And now this is the benefit, this is the beauty of this community thing, of whether it's parents, people in the community. We got over my shoulder, the kids. They said they're gonna be out here until the lights shut off. So just a great community atmosphere and an affordable night out for a family. The ticket's about $6. If you're in the youth academy, you get it for free. You know, beers in the $5 to $6 range. An awesome night out with the family. And again, this is another place that soccer can have and should have in a lot of communities in the US, of just being an affordable, accessible option to be together, to enjoy some soccer and compete, and the kids who are younger seeing these role models who might be coaching or working on camps kind of moving up to the next level. So awesome to see, and had a great time here at the Lusitano Stadium. Seeing the impact of the Mutiny, one of the oldest continuously running women's teams in the country, made me even more hopeful for the announcement of a new member of the New England soccer scene, Boston Legacy, a future National Women's Soccer League club. And while the Revolution had been established in the MLS for nearly 3 decades now, hardly anyone mentioned them, except to say that if they had a stadium closer to Boston, they'd probably be more relevant. There's an opportunity for this new Legacy team to fill that void when they kick off their inaugural season in 2026.
Well, I think it gives the female players the opportunity, knowing that there's a future if they put the time and effort into it, that they can be playing pro for a New England team. I have a 2010 daughter. It'd be amazing for her to go to college, and then after she's done college, continue playing and getting paid, doing something that you love to do. But having a women's pro, I think would just, the awareness, the opportunity. I think the women's game is growing, and I think the players that are in this region hopefully get inspired by it.
Yeah, absolutely. And even before that, U.S. national team, women's national team, played their first games here in the Boston area, and nobody thought anybody would go, and they were getting these really good crowds. So I know the guys that promoted one of the early games, 91 or so, against Norway, 92. And they were basically told by U.S. Soccer, go ahead, they want to know if we could promote it. They said, yeah, go ahead. We can't really get involved because, they're not going to they won't get more than whatever X amount of people there. And they banged it out at Tufts by, I believe, 1,000. It was a decent crowd. And these guys took all the orders on one phone line. I don't know how much money they made, but it was good. And they did it for the good of the game, for the love of the game. And, this was home for the U.S. women's national team for years.
And it makes sense that New England was a fertile ground for women's soccer to begin in the United States, given that they had the first ever women's college soccer team in the 1960s, courtesy of Castleton State College in Vermont.
Sure. My name is Christian Battaglia. I'm the boys coaching director for NEFC. To get to where we are today is about the people who work for NEFC, the coaches, the board, hiring the right people. I think for us to be successful, it's just following a mission, moving players through our pathway, and getting players to play at the highest level that they're possibly capable of playing. Whether that's getting a rec player into a junior team, or a junior player or regional player into our elite model, whether it's MLS Next or the Girls Academy, or players going on to college or moving on into the professional pathway. You know, I've been with NEC for 16 years. We've had one player playing at the highest level. So in terms of like those type of players that are going to go on and play at the highest level, the percentage is very small. So it's more, to me, is developing players to be good soccer players, but also to be good people. Eventually, their soccer career is going to be over, and how they can go out in the real world. So ultimately, it's a reflection on who we are as a club and people. I think it's important to have that understanding and know that we have to do what's right for each individual player. In New England, the opportunity to play soccer, there's so many different avenues. You look at college, all the colleges, there's so many, successful schools on the national stage playing soccer coming out of the Northeast or New England specifically. And then you look at club soccer. I feel being in MLS Next, the Northeast League is probably one of the most competitive leagues in the country. You have NEFC, you have Boston Bolts, you have IFA, you have Oakwood, you have Gotchi in New York, you have FC Westchester, and you have Mount Oval. These clubs have a lot of history in terms of developing players, getting players into the national teams. Every game is super competitive, and I think that's really important in terms of developing the players within NEFC and the soccer landscape.
Like I was saying, around Philly, we don't have any clubs that have like their own specific space. So do you think that helps with creating like a sense of community and like connection with people? It's like, hey, this is
really
our
helps
place.
with building the culture for the kids, having the facility. So the lounge area here, they come in, players that come in, they can do homework,
cool.
hang out. This is our video conference room. Sorry. I know, you probably have about 5,000 players within the club, and I'd say it's probably like an even split, 50 boys, 50 girls. This is an old Bucks jersey.
Okay.
The Revs.
So he's like the one guy who's made it. He's been your MLS guy. So you said how many players that he sent to the Revs, and he was the one that
over 125 for the past 16 years. So he's the one that made it.
Yeah.
He's come back a couple times. Talk to our our younger kids in our pre-MLS Next group and stuff like that. So
the indoor piece is key because you guys winters are nothing to play with.
Oh, we still train out here in the winter time.
Okay.
I'm a little crazy, but I've had all our teams shovel. But if there's a couple inches and we're preparing for games, preparing for an event, I'll have all my coaches and players and parents hop in, come and shovel 2 fields.
How are we doing, guys?
How you doing? They have an hour and a half training session. They're in here with a sports performance coach for about 20 to 30 minutes, and they move into their team training.
Bring like a more holistic type of approach to that. This looks like a fun place to just take a little break.
Ball on the wall.
A couple,
My favorite. Favorite thing.
Yeah, interesting. So this isn't structural.
Kids come here. There's no training here. They'll just come and bounce the ball.
Get the rep. Yeah, we see it's getting its work with all the dirt and the marks. Yeah. Awesome. And like the popular phrase, my last trip in New England was arguably my favorite, and definitely the longest.
So tired, I'm so tired, just trying to keep my customers satisfied. It's for you guys.
What's up, guys? Andrew. I'm here at a rest stop in Connecticut, on the way up to Portland, Maine. The reason I'm driving all the way from Philadelphia to Maine is for the Hearts of Pine, USL League One, brand new club. Although I've spoken to a lot of fans, people around the club, feels like they've had a team for years, and then finally this season, the real deal, the show on the pitch has showed up. I'm eating this very sad, depressing peanut butter sandwich to save some money on the way because tolls are absurd. So excited for what this weekend is going to mean, what I'm going to learn, experience, see about soccer in New England, especially Portland, Maine. Maine, not a place normally associated with sports, but what they've got building up there at Fitzy is incredible. So can't wait to go. Here we go.
I just poured water for myself, but I forgot to film it. So this is a reenactment of me filling up my water. This is added texture and cues to you that I am living like a vagabond while driving up to Maine. Bye. After more than 400 miles and over 7 hours of driving from Philly to Maine, you know I had to get a bite to eat and then a drink to bring me back to life after my soccer sojourn. And what better place to do so than our official soccer bar of New England, the Portland Zoo. All right, so I'm about to walk right into the epicenter, the absolute core, the star of which the Hearts of Pine universe revolves around, the Portland Zoo. Portland Zoo, shame on you when you step through too. So, let's go to the zoo. I was listening to ODB all the way up here, getting pumped for this. I'm excited to learn today what they're doing right, what's causing this. Look, even on the sign, Portland Zoo, beer, music, soccer, check this out. No mistake about that. And I was talking to one of the waitresses when I just had lunch. She said there's been a few soccer bars. There's even one where Arsenal fans gather. There's a few in Portland. So it's just been a matter of time till they get their own club. So excited to see what we learn and experience today, what other places around the country and around the world can learn from what's happening here in Portland. Vamos.
No matter if you're in the corner of northern Maine or the corner of Thailand, you're getting people who are passionate about the game. I lived around the world. I've lived around the country, and every city I've ever been in has a soccer bar open at an ungodly hour with a bunch of, you know, hooligan degenerates, you know, who are absurdly passionate about Port Vale or Arsenal, you know. So I knew that even in Portland, only 60,000 folks, like there's going to be a large number of people on their couch because they don't have an outlet at a bar already watching the game. So it was just a matter of like believing in that, you know, hunting down the right space for it. And I was going around to a couple different bars that I knew focused on sports. They all said no. And then I caught wind that one of the locals, one of the regulars here at the zoo, had like a bunch of friends coming through. I drew out on one of those big drawing pads, like a 5-page pitch, pitched them, and then walked out of the pitch and was like, damn it, Matt. I just thought to myself, dang, I screwed that up. What was I thinking? A drawing pad with Crayola markers? Like, what? And apparently they had the exact opposite impression. They looked at each other when I shut the door and they were like, I don't know who that kid is, but we gotta do this. And the rest is history, yeah. You know, part of Maine's culture is welcoming and warm and open. What we've become is sort of just that. It's a safe place for everybody to come and have a drink, or anybody to come and support their own teams. You know, unless you're a Tottenham supporter, I'll judge you. But other than that, like, you know, we're good, you know? So it's like, it's better than I could have hoped, you know what I mean? Like, people have embraced it with open arms. People show up early, they're passionate. In the middle of the winter, we'll turn on the TVs outside and open these garage doors. And you've got these hardy Mainers who would rather be out in, you know, 25-degree weather with their beer in hand watching outside than inside, which is, you know, great. I love it.
Bird also told me about how creating a space for soccer fans to gather coincided perfectly with the announcement that Portland was getting its own team.
I think Gabe, the founder, most likely had it in his brain, but I don't think it wasn't ever talked about between us and him at all at the time when we started doing soccer at the zoo. So I think that was sort of just serendipitous that we sort of overlapped and had started building a foundation of support for the game and locally. And that sort of just worked symbiotically together for him and with him as he grew the foundations of the team. And, you know, now we have the supporters group that comes and starts here, like the game tonight. There'll be a bunch of people here before. Yeah, I mean, it's perfect.
Should I pretend like I'm doing something?
Yes, absolutely. Aside from enjoying a cheeky pint or two, I also caught up with Mitch Ketchin, co-chair of the club's supporters group, Dirigo Union, to get his take on what's contributed to the vibrant, intense love that the club has evoked in the area.
If you truly show up for the community in Maine, Maine's gonna love you back. So Dirigo Union has grown every game that we play. It's a local initiative, and there was about 60 of us. Having started before the club was officially here, and to grow to almost 650 members you can't really put it into words. Everybody that has grown up loving the game of soccer or caught the bug, if you will, later on in life. So when we rolled up to Fitzpatrick finally in April and we unveiled our first tifo, we popped our first smokes in the supporter section, it was a really surreal moment because I think all of us had these high expectations. Our Valentine band is a big cornerstone of that on match day. It seems like we're getting a new bandmate every game. It's incredibly rewarding. It's the most rewarding thing I've been a part of in my entire life. And I wouldn't trade the countless hours and effort for anything. It goes beyond my wildest dreams. Really, it does.
They don't have this. Only in Maine do you find man of the match buoys, man. All right, we're here pitch side, about 25 minutes to kickoff, and the energy is amazing right now. And everybody's excited about what's happening in Portland. Soccer fan or not, diehard or not, everybody's very excited about what's happening here. It's something for the city, for the region, the whole state of Maine to rally around. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, it's kind of like a place to see people that you know and love. Like, everybody's here. It's a total scene.
And I've been watching it on social media from afar. This is my first game. And from the very first game that they put on social media, I was like, I want that experience. Yeah. So when my best friend who has season tickets said I have an extra seat, I was like, please take me. Go hard.
Awesome. And then just like a little bit of lemon.
A little bit of lemon, maybe some tartar sauce if they got
it.
Yeah,
right.
Nothing fancy. Let the oyster do its own work.
True one. All right, I'm going to try this one here. Hey. Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mmm. Oh, yeah.
Literally just concede a pen. Knew one they just scored and they immediately concede a pen. What is going on? Four goals in 10 minutes. 4 goals in 10 minutes by now. Alcohol sale? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on.
Give back! 50, give back! 50, take him out! Meaningless shootout! Flip her out! Eating! Users! Sir! 10!
Now we got beautiful thing about this level of soccer, connection with the fans right now. So guys are signing autographs after a huge win. Think of all the little kids tonight on their parents' shoulders, walking around, enjoying this atmosphere.
From like the logo to the jerseys to everything that we do is community and tells a story that reaches out to the community. So it makes everyone feel involved and want to be involved in the football club, which is fantastic.
Tonight, you got to see just what this is all about. The fun, the passion, the energy. People I consider my family, my extended family. I give everything for these guys.
What do you think New England in particular has at the offer and give the wider American soccer community?
Yeah, I think New England's sort of an early adapter, so we kind of did things early. I think New England brought a lot of that, something to build on, a foundation. But it's always been there. So there's that continuity. And then the collegiate game was big here too. Yeah. I think it's part of the social fabric, the sort of the sports fabric, even though it's not always reflected in the mainstream media where I come from, it's there.
We're really gritty. We're really welcoming. We'll give you a hard time like siblings. We treat everyone like family. If you love soccer, we're going to be friends outside of the game on the pitch. But for that 90+, we're going to be enemies. We're going to be loud and we're going to be passionate. And we're going to make it a very difficult place for anybody to come play.
Well, there's just so much appreciation for sport in general in New England and Boston area, right? I mean, we're so in tune with world-class sports and events like that. Just to experience the fans coming to Boston is going to be amazing. I can't wait to get down there.
What's like your hope or like dream for kind of the legacy and impact that the tournament could have on American soccer?
Yeah, anytime you have like a big World Cup like that in our home country, like it's going to stir a little bit more excitement.
Yeah.
And I think the game is just growing so much. The levels of excitement, people wearing jerseys, walking around, especially with Messi coming in playing here as well. The more excitement, the more stuff locally is just going to drive way more people to the sport. And the more people to the sport is going to create more competition. The more competition is going to create better teams. Hopefully one day a World Cup trophy would be amazing.
Having kids go to those games and, get the feeling of what it is on the world stage.
I've been a soccer fan since '94 when the World Cup was here and the final was in the Rose Bowl. So as a result, I've been a soccer fan ever since.
This is one World Cup that I'm not really sure where this is going to go. '94 totally changed the equation in the U.S. Launched MLS, got awareness going, gave us a real history that you can look back on. I'm not sure what's going to come out of this because the next one's going to be this one that's crazy all over the world, in several countries. Then the next one's in Saudi Arabia. This will probably maybe be one of the last, maybe normal ones. They could go to holograms. Who the heck knows in the future, what's going to happen. I'm not sure what the effect is going to be. I just think it could, accelerate people's awareness and, appetite for the game.
I hope it's a catalyst for change. I know soccer is a very, very valuable tool. And I think if the World Cup is done right, it could promote very, very positive change and bring people together.
I think my hope for that has to do with like the non-soccer fans of America, because it would be really nice for it to put soccer on the map for a lot of the people who don't look at soccer as like one of the big sports in America, because it is, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Baseball, we're coming for you. I'm wearing a baseball hat, but it's just a matter of time before soccer surpasses, you know what I mean? We just need a Mia Hamm type figure, you know what I mean?
Well, I hope the U.S. does well. I mean, right now, I just want to see it go off without a hitch. Now, with everything going on in the world today, I'm not sure about that. It's the world's game. Give us some time to escape everything else and just enjoy our soccer.
Tom, thank you, man.
All right, thanks.
I'm so tired. I don't even know what to say. Our time is coming to an end in New England. From Providence, from Boston, from Hartford, from Portland, Maine, all the way out in the west to Ludlow, Massachusetts. The interesting thing here is that this region is really fusing the history, the past, and all of that tradition with the future and the possibilities of what this game can be. So I appreciate everyone in New England who has welcomed me, who has allowed me to come in and tell their story. And I hope that you watching, whether you're from this area, some other part of the US or the world, have now gained a better understanding and a perspective on how vibrant and how critical soccer has been in this region. Even if most people didn't care about it, even if it wasn't always in the spotlight, the history has been hidden largely, but hopefully through this, you're learning a lot and you're becoming more aware of the rich soccer tradition that we do have in the United States. But that's the whole point of this series. These are the stories I'm trying to tell you guys, the people we're trying to connect with, the clubs we want to visit, the fields we want to kick around on, is to uncover some of these stories that are come from the past, but also see what's happening in the present and what we can contribute to as we work towards an amazing future of soccer on this continent.
No. We decided right here, we're gonna go get the freaking guy. We're gonna put him in a little truck and away it goes. Once he fell off the truck, there was no getting it up.